Anthony Miller will be one of the most productive wide receivers in the league over the next 5 to 10 years. That is a prediction that I'm confident about. I know that might sound crazy now, but it's only crazy if you don't know Anthony Miller's story. Coming out of high school, Miller was not a highly ranked recruit. In fact, Miller had to walk on at the University of Memphis. After redshirting in 2013, Miller looked forward to contributing to the team. However, he was forced to redshirt again in 2014 due to an injury. 3 years after stepping foot on campus, Miller finally got his chance, and boy did he make the most of it. In 2015, he played in 12 games and made 4 starts, recording 47 receptions for 694 yards with 5 receiving touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. In 2016, Miller started all 13 games and set school records with 95 receptions for 1,434 yards and 14 touchdowns. During his senior season in 2017, he set school records for career receptions, receiving yards, and career receiving touchdowns. Further, he broke his own record for single-season receiving touchdowns and tied his record for single-game receiving touchdowns. All in all, Miller had one of the most decorated careers any receiver has ever had in college football. Yet, despite all of his collegiate accomplishments, Miller was not considered an elite NFL prospect. After all, Miller's only 5'11", ran an average 4.5 40, and was coming off a Liz Frank injury suffered during Memphis' bowl game. Still, the Chicago Bears took a chance on him, selecting Miller 51st overall in the second round of the 2018 draft. He was the 6th wide receiver taken. Immediately, Miller showed off his skills. He was Chicago's best receiver in practice in the preseason and earned high praise from his teammates and coaches. In his NFL debut against the Green Bay Packers, he had 2 receptions for 14 yards. In the following game, a 24-17 victory over the Seattle Seahawks, he recorded his first professional touchdown reception. Overall, Miller finished his rookie season with 33 catches for 423 yards and 7 touchdowns. His 7 touchdowns led the team and were the most by a Bears rookie since 1983. He also ranked 2nd in the league among rookie receivers. Those numbers are pretty good, considering Miller only played 15 games and was catching passes from Mitch Trubisky. However, those numbers should have and will be better in the future. This is obvious when you examine the injuries Miller battled this season. He dislocated his shoulder in Week 3 against the Arizona Cardinals, the first of many times his shoulder came out of its socket. Quote, "Every time I tried to stiff arm, it would come out. Or if I ran kind of crazy, it would come out," Miller told the Chicago Tribune. "Really, I was playing games with like one arm, making it happen. This year I've got 2, so watch out." As Evan Silva put it, Miller dislocated his shoulder 5 or 6 times and tore his left labrum, yet still only missed 1 game, playing in a shoulder harness, and was highly productive. To use Miller's own words, when Miller gets healthy, quote, "watch out." That toughness is something you can't teach, as well as Miller's superb work ethic that is apparent when you watch him play. Miller is an ideal NFL slot receiver. He's a quick wideout who's an excellent route runner. He's smooth off his breaks and doesn't round off cuts or take extra steps. Consistently, Miller creates separation and is a threat to rip off yards and chunks with his run-after-the-catch skills. When cornerbacks and safeties play on their heels, Miller's a threat to burn them and run by them down the field. To go along with that speed, Miller's very shifty and elusive. That makes him a very dangerous threat with the ball in his hands. Miller's a tenacious competitor who wants to win above all else. He makes big plays in crunch time and will put his team on his back. While Miller isn't a tall receiver, he's put together well and has developed some strength. He also has very good hands. Again, while Miller's a great player, it's more than his receiver skills that make him so intriguing. It's his intangibles. I'm going to read a few excerpts from Miller's letter to the NFL GMs article that he wrote in the Players Tribune prior to the draft. I think this does a great job of capturing Miller's spirit. Quote, "I know there are a lot of really talented players you're looking at, and pretty much all of them have a deep love for this game. But regardless of their passion, it's hard for me to imagine another person who loves football as much as I do. More than anything else, it's that love which has got me where I am. I've never had the luxury of getting by on athleticism or potential, but I've overcome that because football just isn't a sport for me. This is my identity, and I plan to have a really, really long career." Miller continues, quote, "I graduated from Christian Brothers High School as the program's all-time leading receiver. Still, I didn't get a single scholarship offer. I heard from a few schools, but ultimately they backed off for the same reasons. Too small, too slow, next. As a walk-on, nothing was promised to me. I couldn't control the number of snaps I got in practice, so every single opportunity I was given, I wanted to have a Steve Smith type of impact. I wanted to make my presence known. The results didn't come right away, My first year on campus, we had a bad season and I redshirted. The next year, a preseason injury kept me off the field, but I kept grinding, and slowly, as I improved, the team improved as well. I'm fine with being doubted. I love it actually. I'm always going to approach the game like a player with no scholarship offers. I'm going to grind the same way I did when I was a walk-on, hoping for one extra practice rep. This draft, if you're looking for a raw athlete that you wanted to mold into a football player, well, there are plenty of other prospects you should consider. But if you're looking for someone who will join your organization with the expectation of making plays every single play, well, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Anthony Miller. And Miller has wasted no time carrying this attitude to the next level. In an interview, he said, quote, "Last year you guys said, could I get 6 touchdowns? And I was telling you it was too low, and I got 7. So I'm telling you 12 this time. Hopefully I can get over that. Don't doubt me on that." He's got the talent and the character to emerge as a star in this league. I'm betting on and rooting for Anthony Miller, and you should too. Comment down below, what are your thoughts on Anthony Miller? Also, who do you think is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL? Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel for more similar content. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.